everyone, and welcome to the Scales Pack demonstration. It's my first one I've done in I think 11 months, so here we go. So I've loaded up the brush and I've placed it there. Pressing M brings up all 69, well actually 71 little brushes. So each one has a single scale in high detail, and then that same scale next to it in cluster form. So you can easily do a cluster. You go to the scale if you want to. Well, if you're doing multiple clusters, for example, you don't want it to have obviously tile. And you can use the single guys. Come on, just use it. Bloody hell, I hate it when Zbrush has this bug. Does my almost said a really bad word heading. There we go. This is the same one, so you can break that up. I should have made a morph target really, but yeah, you can want to flatten that. And then just break it up and so on. So let us go through a few of them. I'm not going to do all of them because I'll bore you to death, and you can easily see them all in the render images online. This one, and then it's cluster. Actually, let's store a morph target. We can easily undo bits. There's a guy. The high detail. Scales of all sorts. This is a cluster of that same one. I really like this guy. And then, for convenience, pre-made cluster. And the clusters weren't just made by doing this. Obviously they were started like that. They were made like that and then given subtle variations to break it up for your convenience. If you want to do a whole creature and you only have single scales, it can get quite tedious. So I think it's best to have, the option to use these guys. And then use the morph brush if you want to bring in variation there and say there to break up the tiling stuff. Go to the... Oh, this is a different spike. And slightly different. Has an overhang. There we go. And so on and so forth. You can easily break up the tiling by using the morph brush it out. The morph brush and single VDM and cluster VDMs. Let's carry on. Here's another one. It's related cluster. I'm not going to show all of them. This one's got 2 clusters. Again, for your convenience. Very handy. I like this one a lot. One of my favorites. And then its cluster. I'm gonna work really rough now. Morph brush. Whoops, sorry about that. Let's get in there and undo the noisy overlaps. There's various ways to approach this, but I like just storing a morph target and doing corrective sculpting manually. You can mask and whoopsie. Just put something different there to break it up. Nicely. And kind of snake mixed with a frog. Anyway, let's move on. It was a bit of a mess, that one, I must admit. That's my own fault. So the spiky ones, somewhat organized. And then it goes to more non-spiky ones like so. And then a cluster of that guy. And you can easily create your own VDMs. If you don't like my clusters, it's very easy, and I will... On my channel, there's a video showing how to make VDMs, but I will quickly cover it in this video as well at the end. If you don't want to go search for it, this is very, very quick. There we go. Okay, so then there's loads of variations of things. You can see at the top there. I just pointed with my finger. Can you believe it? You can't see my finger. Anyway, yeah, sometimes it doesn't choose the one that you chose. It's the annoyance level I would rate a 7 out of 10 as annoying things go. I don't know why that happens, but anyway. Some of these are... I like this one. This was one of the last ones I did. I like this one a lot. Great for ridges and so on. Yeah. Similar one, but more ridged. More edgy. Not in that way. Then you have, you know, there's loads of those types. Then you have strips. I'll show you how to make all of these from these views if you're interested. You can make your own strips. I just had to stop at some point. I couldn't create a strip, and a cluster and a single one for each one because there's so many variations. It would just become too big, the file. That said, I could have split it up into various different brushes, but there you go. And then at the end, there's the finer skin details. These are all made by hand, by the way. Except one was helped by a photo, and I'll show you which one. But these were all made, like this one was made, as you can probably see, from these guys. And then given variation and so on. Whoops, what am I? Hey, you're still here. By Jove. Let's get ready, yeah. There we go. Let's just go through all the fine ones quickly. That one is born from this one. Nice overlap there. Where were we? There. We chose this one? No. And again, if you want to kill the tiling, just draw them out at different angles and come in afterwards and break it up with larger and smaller tiles and so on. This one is similar, but a bit more bulbous. This one is, whoopsie, more spread out. I like this one quite a bit. Then we have that. This is a very old one I made long ago. And find it as a home. This one was added by a photo. It's actually one of my least favorites, funnily enough. Took a photo of a crocodile and use it as a base to sculpt on top of. It's alright. No, it works fine. And then, so yeah, there's a whole smorgasbord of scales here of all sorts, clusters, in high detail. I'm gonna stop the video here and then record a demonstration. Okay, let me show you how to create variations of the VDMs. Let's grab anything really, make polymesh 3D, insert plane 3D, and get rid of this object. I'm gonna turn off perspective because it's better for VDMs. You don't have to. So first I'm going to divide this 5 times. Control D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I Control D 5 times. Now I've got 1,000,000 polys, which is more than enough for any good VDM. I'm also going to store a morph target. That means if you accidentally go over the edge which you should never do with VDMs ever. Don't touch the edges. You can undo it with the morph target. You could also mask the edges to make sure you don't come near that edge, just as a second line of defense, but you don't have to. Right, so let's create variations of this, of my VDM. Or it's just how to create ones on your own as well. Let's say you like this guy, but you don't like the cluster I made, which can be quite dense. So then you can just go, so you want it less dense of a cluster, or different. You just want to have your own, and maybe with mixed spikes on it. Whoops, that was bad. I'm not gonna make I'm not gonna make a, you know, finessed attempt. Is that a word? Finessed? No, finesse is. Anyway, there. So you're happy. I do have to add one of these. This is something tells me I must. A round bit. Let's say you love that. That's your favorite VDM you've ever seen, and you want to save it. So you can either add it to the end of this brush by just going to make sure you're shift and dragging to the left or right to snap this to front camera, brush, from mesh. See, now it's added. There we go. There's your VDM. So you can make your own strips, for example, from each of the guys like these or whatever the hell you want. If you don't want to add it to this brush and add it to a whole new brush, just go to any of the default chisel brushes in ZBrush, because they're set up already to be 3D alphas. So let's say chisel creature. Don't worry, you won't lose that brush. You can see there's a little 3D icon there. That means it's a 3D alpha or VDM. Sorry, I've already did that earlier. I've now loaded the chisel 3D instead. You know, all these ears. It's the default in ZBrush. Now you can go to brush, create multi-alpha brush. So you know now it's only this guy in that set. If you want to, you know, start from scratch with a whole new set of brushes. Let's copy this guy. Press Ctrl Shift D. I'm gonna undo a bit. So you want to add your own brush. Okay, do whatever. Your brush is loaded. Brush from mesh. You know, there's two. The first one you made, and the second one with more clusters, and so on. So I hope that's of use to you. Once you're done, go to brush, save as, and save it wherever you want. Thank you very much for looking, and if you bought it, thank you very, very much. It helps a lot. Cheers.